Today, we're going to be showing you guys how to replace the communication cable on your City 2023. The tools required for this repair are a 4mm Allen key, a 3mm Allen key, electrical tape or packing tape, and a pair of flush cutters, and you should be good to go. First things first, when removing the handlebar assembly, we will need to loosen our drum brake. So we'll loosen our drum brake, remove our adjustment screw, and remove the line just like this. We can now put our hardware on the line just like this so that we don't lose or misplace anything. So next we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the front brake. So now we can go ahead and remove our brake lines from our handlebar assembly levers. And just like that, the brake line comes off. And just like that, we've got our brake lines removed. Next, we'll remove our gaskets. And now we can go ahead and remove the screws that holds the handlebar assembly to the stem. So now we'll go ahead and remove our handlebar assembly from the stem. First, we'll have to disconnect the communication cable from the display. Put the handlebar assembly to the side for now. Next, we can go ahead and run our communication cable through the stem. So just like this, we'll pull on the wire harness a bit, and then we will pull out our communication cable. To make the process of replacing the communication cable easier, we're also going to pull our brake lines through and remove the wire harness. Next, we're going to go ahead and flip the scooter over so that we may access the connectors. First, we are going to remove the outer plastic deck cover screws. Now we'll go ahead and remove the kickstand. And now we'll go ahead and remove the plastic cover. Next, we'll disconnect the charger connector. And then we'll go ahead and remove the remaining inner deck screws. Now we'll go ahead and remove our inner deck cover and put our two covers to the side. So to identify the communication cable, it's going to be one of the two wires coming through the front of the deck, and it is going to be this wire that has the black, green, red, and yellow connectors. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and create a slit on the gasket that holds it. Then we'll go ahead and remove the shrink wrap covering the connector. Next, we can go ahead and disconnect our connector. So now we've got our old connector. We will get our new connector and tape it from this side straight onto the head of the other connector. We like to use electrical tape when doing this, but you can use pretty much any type of tape, such as packing tape. You want to make sure to tape it quite well, a couple layers, as you don't want the tape to rip while you are running the cables through. Alright. And just like that, we can now go and start pulling from the deck side connector through the neck of the scooter. You'll just gently pull, and once the connectors have gotten to the stem, you can help push the connectors through with your fingers, and then you just pull. And just like that, the communication cable will come through. Now we can go ahead and remove the tape. And now we can get rid of our old communication cable. We'll now put our gasket back onto the communication cable, and then we will plug in our communication cable. We recommend adding more shrink wrap to any connector that you remove any shrink wrap from. So next, we'll go ahead and make sure we don't have too much slack here and pull on the other end of the wires. And just like that, the slack is no longer there. So next we can go ahead and start closing up the deck again. So first, our inner deck plates. And we'll make sure to add our screws back to the correct locations. So next, we're gonna go ahead and plug our charge port connectors back in. And now we can put our outer deck cover back on. Make sure not to pinch the charge connectors or the brake line. Now, next, before we put the kickstand back, we're gonna run our hands along the edges of the deck and make sure that they are flush with the body of the scooter. Right now it is not, so we will give it a few light taps. And then we'll feel again for any more gaps. And now we are going to check that all of our screws are still as tight as they can be. When you hit the deck back into place, it can cause these screws to loosen up a bit, so we'll just make sure that they are fully torqued down. So now we'll go ahead and reinstall our kickstand. And now we can go ahead and flip the scooter back over again. So first things first, we are going to put our wires back through our harness. Put our harness back where it's supposed to be. And next, we'll go ahead and feed the wires through the stem. Now when feeding the wires through, it could be difficult getting the communication cable through the stem. So we like to wrap the communication cable around both of the brake lines, and this will help get the communication cable up the stem. Just like that. Your cables are now at the top of your stem again. So now we'll go ahead and place our brake lines in the correct holes. First, we'll identify which one is which. So this one we can see is for the rear. So we'll put it through the right side. And then we'll put the front brake through the left side. And now we can go ahead and put our gaskets back. You can use an Allen key to push the wire through. and we'll push it through just like that. Now we'll do the same for the other side. And now we can go ahead and put the gaskets back onto the stem. Now you can use a small Allen key to help pushing these sides in. If you poke a little hole through the gaskets, it's okay. It'll still provide you with more than enough protection. Go ahead and do the same thing for this side now. And now with our gaskets back on, we can go ahead and grab our handlebar assembly again and plug in the display to the communication cable. We'll tuck the excess wire from the communication cable into the stem, and then we can go ahead and put the handlebar assembly onto the stem. We'll put back our screws that hold the handlebar assembly to the stem. And now we will go ahead and put the brake lines back into their levers. Just like that for this side, and then just like that for this side. Next, we can go ahead and put back our hardware for our rear brake. First, we'll put this holder piece back, then our spring. Then we could put this little bar through the holder. And then we can go ahead and put our adjustment screw back. And now we can go ahead and do the same thing for the front. And that's how you replace the communication cable on your Citi 2023.